It's eclipse season. And eclipse season has the potential to completely change your life, to enter you into a completely new timeline if you understand what is going on with the energy and how to work with it in your life. I have been working with eclipses for a very long time now. I have been an astrologer for the past 8 years. So, over my years of not only working with eclipses myself, but tracking eclipses and working with eclipses with my clients and teaching about eclipses, I have seen some of the most incredible life makeovers happen. I have seen people losing jobs but then going into a career that's more aligned with them. I've seen people get married, have children. I've seen moves happen to places that are much more in alignment and bring that person more joy. So just because we're in eclipse season right now does not mean that something crazy is about to come into your life and your life is going to be different tomorrow. But the energy is ignited right now. So in this episode, we are going to go into what eclipse season is, how to work with these eclipses right now, and what it means when I say you can enter a completely new timeline. So eclipses happen on something called the nodes. And I know I've talked about, sidebar, I know I've talked about eclipses before on my podcast and my YouTube channel, so definitely go back and listen to those episodes. But I'm going to do a really quick, so you know what's happening with eclipses. Eclipses happen on the nodes of destiny, on the nodes of fate, aka the lunar nodes. So when we have eclipses, that is why everyone says, oh, you can enter your destiny. Now, it doesn't mean that tomorrow your destiny is going to fall into your lap, but it means that whatever shifts, whatever changes come about with this eclipse season will bring you one step closer to that destiny, and that is unique to every single person. And eclipse season gets a bad rap because of the intense energy. I'm recording this in the middle of the two eclipses, and the energy is intense. Some days I feel emotional. Some days I feel overwhelmed. Sometimes days I feel really stressed out. And then other days I'm I'm chilling. Life is great. There's so many amazing things happening for me right now. And it can feel a little bit like whiplash, and that's okay. Because eclipses bring that chaotic energy because the undercurrents are changing underneath our feet right now. So the first thing is give yourself some grace and allow yourself to be human during this time. If you need to take time for you, take time for you. Nervous system regulation and nervous system support tools are going to be your best friend right now, so you can come back to your center, so you can ground yourself and not be swept up in all the craziness. Because there's either two ways that people go with eclipses, and which is why I'm recording this, so you go the higher octave way. People can either get caught up in the chaos of it, get really freaked out, start doing a bunch of things to try to fix their life, or start doing a bunch of things because they feel crazy, or they go off the deep end and they go into really bad patterns or habits for themselves, right? They numb themselves out because the energy is too much and they might not even understand what's happening with the eclipse season, right? And then what happens when you do that is the universe says, okay, well, this person really needs to be worked out to get to where they're meant to be. So you are going to be kind of thrown for a loop. You're going to be feeling like you're being pulled in a million directions to try to get you to do the things that you need to do for yourself and to better yourself and to get into your own alignment. So we don't want that. I don't want that for anybody. I don't want that. And if you're listening to this, I'm sure you don't want that for yourself either. So what you do, just take a breath. You come to your center. You meditate. You do breath work. You journal. Because the energy is being initiated now. So you probably have some themes popping up in your life, or you probably feel the undercurrent of a certain change happening. You might be feeling like you're pulled in a certain direction right now. Great. It doesn't mean we necessarily steamroll ahead towards that direction right now. We take note of it. We are open to it. We are curious. That's why journaling, take note. What's happening in your life right now? What is coming to the foreground of your own awareness? What is life showing you? What are you feeling like you naturally need to work on right now in your inner world and in your outer world? Take note of it. Work with it. Open, curious, work with the energy available to you. Let's not spin out. Let's not freak out. Let's not get overwhelmed. This is a time of going more inwards, actually. I'm not saying don't take action. I'm not saying retreat from everything. But make time to be with you and only you. So you can feel, so you can see, so you can sense what wants to be worked out on and in within you. And surrender and trust. But you can only reach that place of surrender and trust if you have that relationship with yourself, if you have that practice with yourself to be able to go with it and to be able to calm the mind, to be able to go into the body, to be able to connect to your center, connect to your body, connect to your higher self, right? You're only going to be able to surrender and trust when you have that foundation within you. So that's why I'm saying create that foundation within you if you haven't already, or continue to nurture that foundation within you. And then from that place, once you see what's starting to happen around you and within you, know that you are on your way to something greater and grander than you could ever imagine. Because that is what eclipses do. Yeah, maybe something on your vision board happens with the energy of an eclipse. Great, we love that, of course. But what if your vision board thing doesn't come true, but it's something like way beyond what you could have ever comprehended for yourself? That is the energy of the eclipse, and that is the energy that we're in right now. So my advice to you is to take care of yourself and to take note. Take care and take note. And from that take care and take note place, take the aligned action. But don't burn yourself out on the way there. Make sure you're still taking care of yourself. But take the aligned action that you know you are to take right now during this time. Now, I actually go completely into what the nodal shift is, because we are having a brand new eclipse cycle. It just happened on, oh my God, I'm like so bad with days right now. The 17th. I'm like, what day is it? On February 17th, we just had the very first eclipse on the Aquarius and Leo axis, which is really big. A nodal shift brings a whole new energy of what wants to be worked on and where these quantum leaps want to happen in your life. So I am not going to go into that so much on this episode, because I actually recorded a whole hour-and-a-half training where I go into the nodal shift of the Leo Aquarius axis. I go into exactly what these eclipses mean this eclipse season and how to work with them. And I also go into the astrology of everything happening in Aries right now, because there's a lot happening in Aries right now. And right now, that is completely free. It is complimentary. And at the end of this training, you are led in a long, deep, restorative breathwork practice so you can release and so you can access that state of surrender and trust. So I will have the link below to get that recording sent right to your inbox. Take all your notes and then receive a beautiful breathwork practice at the end. This episode was more of just a PSA, more of an anchoring point of you've got this. And there's so much available for you at the other end of this portal that we're in. We are going to be in this portal for another month. The next eclipse is on March 3rd, and it is in Virgo. Like I mentioned, we have Saturn and Neptune conjunct in Aries. Today's the 19th, tomorrow. Maybe the day that this is released on the 20th, on February 20th. That is huge. We're never going to see that again in our lifetime. Aries is the leader. Aries is the initiator. And Neptune is our dreams. Neptune is our intuition. And Saturn is the structure. Saturn is the responsibility. So what this is saying is take responsibility for your dreams and start something that you've never seen started before. Be the leader of your life. Be the leader of your dreams. Bring form and structure to your grand vision for your life and go after it even if no one else has ever done it before. And this energy is going to support you in that. So when you pair that energy with the quantum leap energy that is always available during any eclipse season, with the brand new eclipse cycle entering in Aquarius, right, which is allow your authenticity to come forth, share your gifts, allow your freak flag to fly, power to the people. All of this conjoined, this is a time for you to, if you already don't know like what your dream is for your life, this is the time to get really clear on it, or allow the universe to kind of show you what you are meant, what is meant for you. But this is the time that if you have something that you want in your life, if you have a bigger dream, and especially if it has to do with being of service to others, or if it's tied into spirituality or tied into the greater good, or tied into divinity or anything, you are supported in this time and going after that. So this is the moment. February has some of the craziest astrology of the entire year, and yes, it can feel like a lot is happening at once, but it's beautiful astrology if you know what's happening and you apply it to your life in a certain way. This astrology can truly catapult you to your dreams if you take care of yourself, if you go within, if you regulate your nervous system, if you notice with open curiosity what is happening around you, you take note of it, you get out of your own way, you get out of your ego, you enter your heart, you enter your soul, you enter your divine connection to all that is, and you surrender and you trust that you are being taken care of and you are being shown every step of the way. And then you take responsibility for your life and your dreams becoming a reality. Yes, we trust. Yes, we surrender. But we also take action, right? So how do we take that action? We allow our intuition to tell us. We allow our life to be reflected back to us. Hey, this is working. This isn't working. We take responsibility. So many people find this weird push and pull between, well, if I'm meant to trust and surrender, what do you mean take action? What do you mean take responsibility? And actually they go hand in hand. Yes, you trust and surrender that you're going to get there and that you will always be supported and that you will be shown every step of the way, and you trust and surrender to allow the universe, to allow God to show you even more of what's possible, right? You open up to all the possibilities, not just your narrow-minded way of your ego way saying it has to be this and it has to happen then and it has to happen just like this. No, we open up. Can you feel the energetic difference between that? And then you take responsibility for making it happen in this reality, in the 3D. You are a human. Yes, you are supported by the divine. Yes, there are miracles. Yes, there are blessings. But the human needs to do things to get things to happen in the 3D, right? Who has taken responsibility for that and taking action towards what you want. I personally can't wait to see what happens in everybody's lives from this astrology. And again, if you would like to know even more about how to work with eclipses, I go into this in depth. I go into depth what exactly an eclipse is. I go into depth what the eclipses in this eclipse season are doing. I go into depth about the nodal shift and what that means for the next 18 months, collectively and personally. I go into all of the Aries energy in my complimentary masterclass called The Shift. And you will also receive a breathwork practice, a breathwork journey to help you release, to help you come into the mind for an emotional release, and also to receive some clarity that you might need at this time. Like I said, breathwork is your best friend. So if you would like to receive the recording to your inbox, again, the link is below. The link is in the show notes to get that recording absolutely free. It will be a paid masterclass soon, so I recommend getting in there before it is paid. And if you would just like to know what this eclipse is doing to you, so all of the eclipse that we just had on the 17th, the eclipse on the 3rd, and also all of this Aries energy and what that is meaning for you in your birth chart and you in your life specifically, there is also a link below to book an eclipse season reading with me. I find that, well, I know for a fact that when you know exactly how it's affecting you and your birth chart specifically, that's how you can really make strides, because then you know exactly where your arrow is pointed, right? We're not throwing shit at the wall this eclipse season, right? We're not giving into the chaos. We're not giving into the overwhelm. It's about precision and knowing where to shoot your arrow. And understanding the energy, yes, you get precision, but if you want to have enough precision to hit a bullseye, you need to know how it's affecting your chart personally. And that is the magic of receiving an eclipse season reading. Hang in there. I will be back to help you throughout this eclipse season over the next few weeks with different downloads and support on what's happening energetically and also how to work with it in your own life. So make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for eclipse season and beyond. I'm sending you so much love.